Welcome, listeners, to We Are Listening. I'm your host, Pulkit Garg, founder of Aanya Wellness. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, Juliana Senovi, also known as Asturia. Juliana is a renowned wellness mentor with a unique approach to healing that combines elements of spirituality, science, and the cosmos. Before we dive into our discussion, quantum transformation healing. Let's learn what quantum transformation healing is. But before that, we would love to know Juliana's journey. And Juliana, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Pulkit. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. It's a wonderful job that you've been doing with the wellness industry, and we definitely need a little bit more of information of what we are actually doing today.
Thanks. Also, actually, that's the idea. There are so many modalities that are coming out, and we don't have the right information about them. So that's where I started this podcast. We are listening. And when I came across your profile, over social media, QTH, quantum transformation healing, was something I had been hearing a lot about, but nobody could give me the real answers, clarity on what exactly QTH is. So I'm really curious. I've got a lot of questions, but before, I start asking my questions, let's get to know you as an individual, your journey for our listeners, and what brought you to quantum transformation healing.
Okay, so I started at a very young age in Brazil. I was born in Brazil originally. I live in Australia for the last 20 years now. But I come from a very spiritual family in Brazil, and I grew up in a very spiritual environment. And I started talking to spirits from a very young age. And I didn't know what to do with that, but being shown that from my family, I wasn't like weird or anything like that. And Brazil is a extremely spiritual country, and we have a lot of indigenous people that have influenced culture. And we have spiritual churches, spiritual circles, spiritual places that you go to just get an energy healing. And so the one that I go to sometimes when I go back home, I often go to this beautiful center in São Paulo, where I'm from, and sometimes I have 200 to 300 people going for a spiritual clearance in one night, like let's say between 6 to 8 o'clock at night. There's 300 people go through the door, and that's just one center. So I grew up in an environment where being a psychic and talking to spirits were just easy. It was nothing out there, and I'm sure different countries in the world is like that. Not so much in Australia. Australia is very different. So I often ask myself, what am I doing here? But I started working with spirituality very young, and teenage years, I ended up going to plant medicine. It's very famous in Brazil to have an ayahuasca ceremony, and I had about plant medicine joining with my mom and my family, and I saw what I could feel. And I call that the quantum, and I received the information that that was the quantum that we all been talking about, but a lot of people can't see because you need to learn this skill, you need to be in touch with it every day, and or you have to have this out of state experience, which was in a very safe environment. And it, like I said, is very normal in Brazil to do something like that. So I grew up thinking that what's going on, there's two worlds. We have the physical material world, and then we have this beautiful quantic reality with so much beauty and angels and archangels and all the animals that you see on the planet are there. This light show. So I decided I wanted to stay in the earth. So I realized, well, maybe I will enjoy the human first. So I ended up studying a bachelor's of marketing, and I enjoyed that. And I traveled the world from the age of 21. I started traveling the world, and I ended up in 20 different countries. And I've realized that spirituality had its up and down, and it was extremely different around the world. But the only thing that I found out that was true is that everybody wanted to love and find peace. So
Mhm.
that was one thing that was across Hinduism. From I studied Tibetan Buddhism. So when I was about 12 years old, 15 years old, I asked my mom to take me to a Tibetan Buddhism center, which she found it weird, but I felt I was just downloading. I didn't know the difference between a download and myself until later in life. So I pretty much ended up doing everything with my heart until about my 30s when I had my children, that I started to pay attention to what I was seeing, what I was hearing, and what I was feeling. And
Mm-hmm.
then I met some really spiritual people that actually work with psychic mediumship. And then it always started. And
Wow.
then I started to see the power and how to utilize the power, not just go, oh, look at that. Oh, how nice. Yeah, so that was one big, let's say, quantum leap that I had in my life. And then my children was born and my intuition really kicked in. I have two children. They 13 and 15 now, but at the time, I was 29 when I had my first child. So I was really keen to use my intuition because you don't know what the child is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So my intuition became really intense, and I started studying quantum physics, health science, everything that was about Reiki, theta healing, human design, hypnosis, QHHT from Dolores Cannon. I studied absolutely everything, trying to find why am I working with spirit in such a young age and trying to make sense of that, of why aren't we just that? Why we created this world that we have today. So then I've realized that there was more to it. And quantum reality wasn't going to stop with us. I think it was a lot that the quantum reality wanted to show us. And a lot of us, it's like that gimmick, and is it light? Is it dark? Where do we sit? And I feel that humankind is evolving, but we're evolving with both sides. We need to sort of choose a side and go with it. And then I enrolled to a bachelor's of health science and study a bachelor's of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. And when I started to use the power that I had in the needles, so on the first year of acupuncture, I started to see through the people, and I started to see through everything what I was doing. And then I've realized that I had a gift that nobody else had in my cohort, at least here in Australia in the Gold Coast. I was like an outsider in the group, and I started to look inside of the bodies differently. So they were telling me, oh, this is, the part, this is the muscle, blood, this is the part of the body, and this is the vein, this is the brain, this is the organs, this is this. So we did the full health science, anatomy, physiology, everything about the body. It's a full-blown health science degree. We're doctors here. So I consider doctors. We work with disease, more than 100 different types of disease that we've created, and in a way. And then I started to use the energy. And that's
Okay.
when quantum transformational healing started.
Juliana, the world is filled with a lot of enigmatic, modalities out there. And it's really important that we understand the depths of it. Even for a layman, what exactly that thing is and that modality is, and who can really benefit from that modality. These are the two imperative things out there. So, I would like to understand what exactly quantum transformation healing is all about, and who are the people, or what are the, different diseases that we can, cure from it or manage better.
Sure. So yeah, I had the same questions when I started, because I started to use the quantum energy to heal people
Mm-hmm.
with the traditional Chinese medicine concepts and acupuncture, in which you have the five elements, you have Taoism, and as a backdrop, there's also a shamanic part of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM. So when I say TCM, it's traditional Chinese medicine because it's such a long name. And I started going in depth into the ancient eras, the ancient books, and which caught my attention. And then there was a point where my own intuition, because I can hear, I can see, I move my arms, the light language comes through. And I stood at talks, Santa, Tria, Pai, and Hi. I started doing a lot of light language. And my questions were always about the quantum information. I'm like, why am I talking light language? Why am I using my hands when my hands move and people can feel the energy? Why my forehead is bursting with energy? Why I'm having those dreams? How can I predict people's lives? I will sit down and people will talk to me. And I said, you have a brother, you have a sister, you have this, you have that. Like, how do you know? And I said, I don't know, I'm downloading this. So I started to really become a shaman, reaching what the quantum reality said, that I was a shaman. I have a long lineage of shamanism in my DNA, but also with my soul print. And I pretty much did shamanism. When I started to mimic the reality and with the quantum, I blended the two, and my guide said, we would like you to call it quantum transformational healing. And I want you to create the methodology. And I said, okay. And I had a dream with this being, like this beautiful being called Surya, and she was holding a book in my dream. And she said, I'm editing the book for you. And I said, okay. And I woke up and I was, who was that? And I said, it's a Pleiadian being. And they want you to write, because I have 2 bachelor's, 3 certificates, and I come from a, very intellectual academic family. And they said, you can write well, you understand things well, you'll be able to write this, give this message to humanity, because you have to do it. So I started to write the methodology, but before I started to write it, I started to give the training to people. And I also Googled everywhere looking, is there somebody else working with quantum transformational healing? And I couldn't find anybody that has actually written the methodology. And because we know in the quantum reality, or I know from asking a lot of questions to the quantum, how it operates, they said it's through oneness. So quantum is one intellect, what we call God. And this one intellect is giving people tasks, giving people missions. And like your mission is that you feel that you have to operate from the knowledge from everybody, and that will change over time. So I've changed my life over time as well with the quantum reality. I've done a lot of good in this world. I've helped a lot of people, that didn't include money or any type of exchange. It was just truly just helping people with their health. And then I started charging also. I do charge, and sometimes I operate with the idea that I can only charge what they can afford, because I still have to pursue their mission, and it's all downloaded. So when I created the quantum transformational healing, the idea was that I understood the name, so quantum transformational healing. And then I was given the name, so QTH, because you have different modalities. They are similar. There's a lot of people using the word quantum, but they said, when you enter the quantum reality, you have to be, or to get to a level in which you become a healer. And to get to that level in which you're working with the codes, you have to transform yourself. So they use the word transformational. So transformational is that the quantum is available. Yes, it's available. How are you going to operate in the quantum? It's how good you are at understanding the quantum, because the quantum is complicated. It's not easy to understand. Otherwise, everybody would be, oh, look at that. Oh, look. And nobody would be scared about it.
Yeah.
So I started to write the information, and I taught the course, the quantum transformational level 1, 2, 3, 4, and mastership for about 2 years. And I stopped about 6 months ago to write it and give this course digitally online. This course will be available online to anybody in the world. And I thought it was better, because I got to a point, I always favor the quantum first, and I always show them that I'm interested, and then they show me that I'm capable. And this is a lesson to everybody that's working with the quantum reality. You have to put yourself out there and practice what you're receiving first. Once you're sure that that exists and that can be manifested into this reality, the material heavy reality, then they will give you the opportunity to go further. So the course is going to be a 4 weeks course, and it's just an entry into the QTH, and you're going to understand everything about the idea of how to become a healer inside of the quantum reality, and how the quantum will operate with you, on your reality. So you don't get scared, you don't get, don't feel self-doubt, or you don't feel that maybe this is not working, because a lot of people are doing energy healing, but they back off. They go, I don't know if this works. I'm getting tired. I've heard that a lot. A huge portion of my clients are already healers. They have already healed people in clinic and they are tired.
Wow.
They are consumed by the energy. They're mixing their own energy with the sick energy of the clients, of the patients, and that's not what a healer is supposed to be doing. You have to protect your energy. If you don't know how to protect your energy and if you don't have integrity, I've seen a lot of healers quitting. I've seen acupuncturists quitting because the health, the medicine today, the allopathic medicine and even holistic medicine, they do not teach you about spirituality and energy.
Mhm.
They teach you about anatomy, physiology, psychology, and all this mental stuff. But we are organic beings full of soul and energy. So when somebody comes into your office and they heavy with the energy, but you haven't been taught that, you're not operating at that level. It will take you a long time to figure it out why you're feeling in a certain way. And
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we are like sponges, you can pick up the frequency of that person and take it home. And
Yes.
then you ended up getting sick yourself.
Yeah.
So the idea is that this entire course, it's mainly for healers, but also for people that have an intuition, have a sacred reality, or have been in touch with people in which they didn't know how to separate their own energy from that person and they
Mm.
got sick themselves. So you're going to learn what I'm receiving from the quantum reality is that people need to learn what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine. But I can share information with you about how I got to where I am, but we
Mhm.
don't have to exchange energy. So I hope that answers a bit of the question.
No, totally, totally, it does, it does. And this sort of makes me more curious to understand, and I'm getting a lot of questions. I was just making notes over here. Is quantum healing and energy healing the same thing, or there are two different modalities out there?
It depends how you operate. So human brain it's disconnected from the other layers of energy. So we have a brain, we have free will. We have a brain that whatever you've learned today, we call it the belief system. So it depends how you see it. It depends how you've done energy healing on the past or how you've been trained. You will do energy healing in a certain way. And sometimes you go to different types of energy healers and you feel different energies. You probably have done it yourself. I've done it myself. They said, I'm an energy healer. And sometimes nowadays I ask and say, which layer are you? What channel are you? What are you channeling?
Mm-hmm.
And then they will say, oh, this. And so, okay, I would like to try. Because yes, we are exchanging, but there's also people that can do an healing with the capability of the heart because we are organic beings. And there's people that can do that have the capability, like myself, to do and consider an energy healing, but we change it to quantum healing because it's coming from the quantum reality, and I know it. I know it's not just me, my kindness and my love for the world and my empathy. I know it's not just empathy. I know it's coming from somewhere else and I can see it and I can talk about it all night long because it's just a channel. It just
Mm-hmm.
channels. It just keeps
Mm-hmm.
on coming through. So I feel that like Reiki could be something that you do with your hands and with your intuition, your intent, but quantum healing, it's it's much more powerful. Yeah.
Understood. And does Akashic reading also have something similarity or an overlap, or it's again a very different field?
People that are capable of doing Akashic healings, they are mediums. So they're not just psychics, they are mediums. So they're actually channeling from the quantum. We are not capable of doing Akashic reading unless you're in full touch with your soul body, because it's your soul body that's healing the person in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's reading or recoding, reassessing, reliving your past, in which in a quantum reality, it's an imprint. Some people call it Akashic, some people call it, your blueprint. There's always something happening within your own consciousness, but whether or not you're aware of it, it's then a medium psychic can help you.
Juliana, one of the things that has really helped me in my life and throughout my education journey primarily was the concept of the secret out there. And I believe it's based on the energies, the vibrations that we are sending out to the universe. So how does the concept of the secret and quantum healing align with each other, or they don't?
So the quantum healing and the quantum,
The secret.
the secret as in
So there's a
the,
concept which is even today being publicized a lot over the internet, and it's often told the way it is publicized that it is the tool of the riches out there. That you need to send out positive vibes in to the universe, and think that you are already at that stage, rather than saying that is going to happen with you in future. You start believing in it, that you're living it in the present. That's what I have been hearing, and that's till the point I understand it. I also don't understand it fully, but with the definition of quantum healing that you shared, your experiences you shared, just brought out these questions from within, and I wanted to understand on these.
so I'll try to download this as well because I know the secret and I know there's people trying to manifest everything. I know people doing light language and saying the light language can bring you millions of dollars. I've been doing light language for a long, long time. I've met little children that do light language. They don't even know what they're talking about. They go, "La katahia, tsetria pahia, tsetsehe," and they start laughing. And I go, "Oh my God, you're like super connected." So the information that's being passed on to us, I think it depends of your level of consciousness and what you're trying to achieve. So being a millionaire or being a very wealthy person or being a abundant person or having what you think is what you're trying to transform your life into, I think it just doesn't come from the quantum because it comes from the idea that what you truly think and want and deserve from
Hmm.
this lifetime. I come from a very poor country. In Brazil, we have, the favelas, the slums everywhere. And it used to hurt me. I used to go every Christmas and I used to go and donate a lot of food under the bridges. I used to hold babies. I was like 15 years old. I had a boyfriend at the time and he was 6 years older than me. And we used to drive our cars under the bridges and hug babies and give them food. So I was like, is this wealth? Is what's going on to the world? What do those people want? And I learned that from my dad. My dad always said to me, and it's such a beautiful message, and he's such a beautiful man. He's an economist, and he said, "Never give people what you want to have. Give them what they want. Give them what they believe that they need." So I feel that we've missed that. We've missed that information along the way. It's like what you believe what you need is sometimes not what I believe that I need. It's sometimes people are happy with just fresh water. Some people want a whole river.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think the secret, it's not trying to manifest something that is not in your blueprint or your akashic, is you have to manifest what is showing up to you, because I feel that we have a mission.
Hmm.
Each one of us have a mission, and to me the biggest wealth would be that you find your mission
Yeah.
and you connect with your intuition. It might be the what you're looking for, because sometimes we are not aware of that our intention sometimes is connected to our soul
Yeah.
until you get to the point where you can break the two. That's mainly that I feel that people have to take care with what they wish as well because words have powers.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of mentors like myself and coaches out there today that started to sort of break down as well to make it real instead of disillusional.
Hmm.
Because sometimes you can sit there all day and repeat the same words every day to just program yourself to be a certain person, but your reality doesn't coincide with that. So you need to become more real,
That's
intentionally. Use the part of intention, but with reality.
So true, so true. The intent and authenticity, I believe, are the two most important pillars. I have come across, certain people in my life where, as per them, they are something else. The self-belief is that I am a certain individual. But as we say that actions speak louder than words,
Yes.
their actions are totally different. Their intent shows something, a very different image. And
Yeah.
that's where I have seen those people having a very conflicting belief system as well. And they are always somewhere or the other having a chaotic mindset as well, which gets them a bit of stress and anxiety as well at times.
Yes, because you have to be able to handle what you're trying to manifest.
That's true. That's true. Juliana, you also mentioned about being a shaman out there. So is it something similar to being an astrologer or it's totally different?
A shaman is pretty much a person who actually receives the information from the quantum and translates to whoever is in front of them. Often people come to a shaman because they want to get healed from pain. And I didn't know I was supposed to work as a shaman until a really strong psychic healer came into my house and said to me, "You've been receiving that you're a shaman and you don't want to believe it." And I said, "I don't think I'm a shaman. I think I'm a healer." And they
Mm,
said, "No, you are a healing shaman and you need to believe it. You need to start teaching shamanism." So I said, "Well, I download everything, so I'll just teach." And I started teaching. It's all recorded on SoundCloud. People can just listen to it.
oh,
I did groups of 12 people and I recorded like we're recording this. I
mhm,
recorded all of the teachings. And then I've realized that, and then I had a dream with plant medicine again, and I saw myself as a shaman in Ecuador with the Shuar family. So,
mhm,
and I tried to trace my lineage, my mom's lineage, my dad's lineage back into the Amazon, and it feels as though that my great grandmother was a indigenous woman from the Amazon, and she married a Dutch man at the time and came to the city and then created my lineage. But when I was serving plant medicine to groups, I had a lot of people saying to me, "There's a lot of women here and there's an old lady sitting with you." And I said, "I think those are the shamans." And they said, "They feel like they're healing me." And I said, "Yeah, that's their job. That's what they want to do. Just allow it, allow it because it's a gift. My God, if I could stop every war, if I could feed every famous person, if I could house every poor person that's on the streets, if I could take everybody out of drugs and make them healthy, if I could make everybody heal from everything,
mhm.
wow. Like I would have done it in a blink of an eye. I think we all wish that every shaman would
Okay.
have done that. So shamanism works with healing, but from a very energetic point of view. So soul pain, spiritual pain. Sometimes we reincarnate with a very dark soul, a very like a soul that's been broken. So sharp, and then that person is living their lives and going, I don't know what's going on with me. Everything's going wrong. I hang out with the wrong people, but I have good parents and I don't know what's going on with me. And often a shaman would go in and say, "There's something wrong with your soul. Let's fix that." Sometimes we can change souls as well. We can ask them to recoil the entire information and then bringing higher souls. I've had this information in the past where the Pleiadians, the blue people, they were coming in and trying to sort of exchange with humanity. So they were so to annihilate pain in this world. And so a few years ago, a lot of people gathered. It was 12th of January. I can't remember the year, maybe 2018. Everybody went to the center of Australia and the Uluru, the big red rock.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, all of these people gathered, and nobody knew that everybody was going to be there, but they were receiving go, go, go from the quantum. And there's a lot of footage that on the top of the Uluru, this big blue light opened up and there was blue light being shining to the solar plexus of the world, which is Australia. So there is a problem with how we interpret energy, but there's also a problem with how your energy is interpreting the earth energy. So the shamans try to bring in that balance. Oh, come to the earth, come to the earth. Don't be afraid of here, just incarnate here. It's okay to be here. And rearranging that soul body so the soul body is powerful, energetic, and it sort of balances out the planet and balances out the energy field that's trying to stay on the earth. I have faith one day we will evolve a lot as humans because we have a lot of quantum energy trying to help us.
Surely, surely, this is such a magical world out there. Often, we just think about it, or a lot of people don't even get to know about these modalities that exist around them, and they spend their lifetime without even knowing about these things.